In this video, we'll learn the Japanese verb groups. First of all, let's make sure we understand the basics of verb groups. Let's say you want to say I watched in a casual form. As the first step, you would look up a dictionary and find the verb. But the verbs you find in a dictionary is in a form called a dictionary form, which is also referred to as short form, plain form, or basic form. So you need to conjugate the verb to the casual past tense, but before that, you need to know the verb group of the verb. Then each verb group has its own set of conjugation rules. So once you identify the verb group, you can just follow the conjugation rule for that verb group. And you'll be able to use the verb in any form you like. So after watching this video, you'll know how to identify verb groups. Japanese verbs are categorized into 3 groups. U verb, also known as godan verb or group 1. Ru verb, also known as ichidan verb or group 2. And irregular verb, also known as group 3. Now let's take a closer look at each group. The simplest one is the irregular verbs. We have 2 irregular verbs, kuru to come and suru to do. Please note that there are many verbs that are a variety of kuru or suru, and those verbs are also irregular verbs. All the ru verbs end with either eru or iru. For example, taberu to eat ends with eru. All the other verbs are u verb. For example, nomu to drink is u verb because it's not irregular and it doesn't have the eru or iru ending. But there is an exception to this rule. Some verbs that have the eru or iru ending are u verb. But don't worry about the exceptions too much. There are more than 200 essential u verbs, but only 6 of them are the exceptions, meaning that there are 6 verbs that end with eru or iru, but they are u verbs. As your Japanese study advances, you will see more exceptions, but knowing these 6 exceptions is a pretty good start. And I'll introduce a memory tip for these 6 verbs later in this video. Now let's practice identifying a verb group based on the rules. The first example is kuru, to do. Identifying irregular verbs is the easiest, so we check if the verb is an irregular verb first. This one is pretty easy. Kuru is an irregular verb. How about benkyou suru, to study? Benkyou suru is a suru verb, so this is also an irregular verb. How about tsukuru, to make? Is this an irregular verb? Tsukuru ends with kuru, but it just happens to contain kuru. But it's not a kuru verb. So let's go to the second checkpoint. Does tsukuru end with eru or iru? Tsukuru does not end with eru or iru. Remember that verbs that do not end with eru or iru are always u verb. So tsukuru is u verb. How about nomu, to drink? Nomu is not an irregular verb, and it doesn't end with eru or iru, so nomu is u verb. How about taberu, to eat? Taberu is not an irregular verb, and taberu ends with eru. When the verb ends with eru or iru, it's usually ru verb, but there are some exceptions. So we check if taberu is one of those exceptions. Remember that there are only 6 exceptions in 200 essential u verbs. Iru, need. Shiru, know. Hashiru, run. Hairu, enter. Kiru, cut. Kaeru, return. A quick memory tip that may help you memorize these 6 verbs in English is this phrase. I need to know the exceptions. I run and enter into woods to cut some firewood. Then I return home. it appears that 食べる is not one of those exceptions, so 食べる is る verb. How about 見る, to watch, to see, to look? 見る is not an irregular verb, and 見る ends with いる. It appears that 見る is not one of the exceptions, so 見る is る verb. How about 帰る, to return? 帰る is not an irregular verb, and 帰る ends with える. Now, 帰る to return is one of the exceptions, so 帰る is う verb even though it ends with える. Today we learned the Japanese verb groups. Thank you for watching. ありがとうございます。